This Dharani, remember Dharani and mantra have a little bit of difference. Dharani, it's a longer form mantra. Mantra is the shorter form. What is a mantra? What is the Dharani? If we try to analyze it from our daily living, a Dharani is a summary, is a briefing, is a summary of the sutra. The sutra is in long form. It's all the philosophy, all the teaching is contained in the sutra. And then usually in the sutra itself, close to the end of a sutra, sutra could be in many, many words. Could be long, could be short, but usually quite long. Usually there's a conclusion at the sutra. And even the conclusion is long. The conclusion, it's sometimes in gutta form or in a poetic form. So it repeats what's in the teaching of the mantra as a conclusion. But the Dharani is even in a shorter form, regurgitating the meaning of the sutra. So by chanting the Dharani, it reminds us of the content of the sutra. Is an aid in memorization, in remembering the teaching. And also, it is also magic words of mentality linkage of the Bodhisattva to the chanter. So in other words, it's like the magic words, or some people like to call it the magic spell, the magic words. These are the magic words. If you say these magic words, your mind is in resonance with the Bodhisattva's mind. It's in harmony with the Bodhisattva's mind. Or the communication is linked up. I always use the simile of a radio station and the radio in us. So we have this mind radio, and the Bodhisattva is a grand universal radio station. You need to link up with the radio station, then you need the frequency. Usually we say 103.5, 1470. Now, 103.5 is just the frequency. Of course, it has a long name to it. I don't know what the name is. 1470 or 1320, Overseas Chinese Voice Company Limited or whatever. But the 1470 or the 1320 is the very short form with which you link up with the radio station. So you need that frequency to link up. And the mantra or the Dharani is that frequency. If the mantra, if it's a short, Om Mani Padme Hum, the frequency is short. So you have to repeat it a lot of times, repetition. The power comes from repetition. Why do we have to repeat it? Because when we first start out, it's like a warming up. Om Mani Padme Hum. Your mind is not fine-tuned to it. It's just like when you put your fingers onto the knob of your radio, you don't bang, you get the 103.5 immediately. You really have to turn from the left to right or the right to left, and then you fine-tune it and all that. So you need time to tune it in. It's not just bang, you put it in. It's not like a keyboard. Not like a keyboard, you key it in, you tune in. You slowly have to tune in. And when you tune in, you turn your fingers, your knob and all that, and adjust it and all that. That means you need repetition in it. The repetition is also to warm yourself up, just like in any exercise. You warm yourself up, and that tuning also to put your mind in tranquility, in peacefulness, and also to put your mind in awareness. When you tune in that frequency, if you don't have awareness, or if your mom is talking to you, if somebody is talking to you and you're at the same time tuning it in, you may not get it right. Because your mind is scattered all over the place. Or you could be thinking of many things else, and many other things. And also your radio may be not working. And you don't know, you have a scattered mind, you don't know. But when you concentrate, then you know, oh, is it my radio is not working? Do I tune it in right? Do I have the right battery? Is the battery all used up or exhausted? You have all these, so you need to chant for quite a while to tune yourself in. This Maha Karanika Chitta Dharani comes from the Maha Karanika Chitta Dharani Sutra. The sutra there says that Avalokitesvara, when practicing Prajnaparamita, he was at his first bhumi. There's 10 levels, the first level. First level is already quite similar to Sotapanna, which is elimination of the ego. Already a major part of the ego, of the mental afflictions that are associated with the ego is already eliminated. That's the first level, the first bhumi, B-H-U-M-I, bhumi, or the level of ground. We call it, bhumi is a Sanskrit word. It means the ground, or the first ground, and that is quite similar to Sotapanna, which is elimination of most of the mental afflictions associated with the self, with the ego. But there's still some innate, delicate, minute mental afflictions that haven't been eliminated. And a Sotapanna, of course, when he reached that level, when he passed away, everybody has to pass away. When he passed away, he won't reincarnate into beings of the three vicious realms. Infernal realm, animal realm, and ghost realm. He won't go in there. He will be just in the three meritorious realm, which is the human's realm, the Asura's realm, and the heaven realm. And usually this Sotapanna would come back 7 times, approximately, to practice again until he reached Arahatship, which is complete elimination of the ego and go into Nirvana. No more reincarnation, no more suffering. There's 4 levels. So when Avalokitesvara realized his first bhumi, he listens to the Buddha's chanting of this sutra, and he learned it immediately, and he elevated himself to the 8th level. And thereby he make a wish. Any sentient beings who chant this mantra, requesting for help in difficulties, in hardships, he would immediately come for help. Otherwise, he won't attain enlightenment. So there's a lot of merits in chanting this long Dharani. It's been chanted for hundreds of years, and it's been very effective, unless you haven't fine-tuned yourself in. And of course, there are conditions when you fine-tune yourself in. There's still conditions for effects to come up in chanting it. For example, if you are terribly sick, or if you have something that you wish for and it can't come true, and you would like to invoke help from Avalokitesvara, you chant this mantra. The sutra says 21 times. You chant 21 times, and if you chant it with devotion, your wish will come true. Or you wish one of your relative members or family members is sick, and you would like to request Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva for help so that he or she could be healed, you chant this mantra. You're in difficulty. Or even if I'm looking for a job and I always can't get a job, I'm unemployed. I have been unemployed for a number of years. I would like to get this job. You request Avalokitesvara's help and it would come true. 21 times, each time, 21 times with devotion. It worked for for millions of people who chant this mantra, this Dharani. So we already know how to memorize it. And we have pamphlets that help you to learn this mantra. So if you don't have that aid, we have a card in which we print down. Maybe Lee, you can show anybody who's interested in learning this mantra. That's upstairs in the main gracious hall. There is a card in which is all printed and you can learn it. There's even a free copy of how to learn this mantra in English, both in English and Chinese. It's free, it's complimentary, upstairs. I don't know if they already have given them all out. Get one copy with the CD, with the printing. Learn this mantra. There's a bilingual explanation in it. Now, but there are 3 conditions for your wish to come true, requesting help from Avalokitesvara. The first condition is faith, no suspicion. If you chant this mantra, I don't know if it will come true, but somebody told me it's 21 times. Anyway, I'll chant it. If it doesn't come true, so let be it. If it comes true, it will be good. Then you have suspicion in it, you have no faith in it, you have no confidence in it. That means, I don't know, it's 103.5. It could be 102.1. I don't know, I forget about it. So you have to have the faith, you have to have the confidence, no suspicion. The second one is you must have performed good deeds. In other words, you must be morally sound. In other words, you're always chanting this mantra, requesting help from the Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, but you are killing, you are lying, you are involved with sexual misconduct, you are doing crimes, you are doing all sorts of evil things, evil actions, evil speech, then it won't come true. In other words, your conduct has to be good. The foundation, your mind must be in harmony with good conduct. It's similar to your mind radio. Are the chips broken in your radio, your mind radio? Are the wires connected? Is it working? Your radio is not working. Even how can you tune in? You've been killing, you've been lying, you've been doing all these bad deeds. All your morality foundation collapsed already. So you must be a good, virtuous person in order to have this mantra come true. So faith, morality, and the third is devotion. You chant 21 times, you chant 1 time per day and 3 times and then maybe 4 times another day. There's no consistency. So you have consistency and faith, you have devotion, you have no suspicion, you are morally sound in your conduct and your speech. Then 100% it will come true. I tried it many, many times. It comes true for me. And I taught this mantra to a lot of students, even students who wanted to go to Ivy League universities. They don't know it will come true. They write a letter and they chant, and it comes true for them. Many, many examples like that. All kinds of wishes will come true. Unless it's wish to hurt people, then you're not morally sound. That won't come true. What's the meaning of this mantra? This mantra, this Dharani, is written in Sanskrit. Our pronunciation is in Sanskrit. It's not in the Sanskrit word. The calligraphy is not in Sanskrit, but the sound is in Sanskrit. It's in the classical Indian language. So, I haven't really given you any meaning. Mind you, this has been passed down from 2,000 years ago, and language change. Even the Sanskrit language has changed a little bit. The translation has changed. But then people who are expert in the Sanskrit language try to find out meaning of this mantra, and they were able to decipher 90% of it. Some of the words they don't even know the meaning. So they just carry on to the sound. But most of it has meaning. So let's go through it now. Namo Ratna Trayaya. What does that mean? Namo is paying the highest homage to. It also means seeking protection under. Ratna. Ratna is jewels, germs. Trayaya is the three germs. In other words, homage to the triple germ. What's the triple germ? The three jewels. The Buddha, the Sangha, and the Dharma. Paying homage to the Buddha, the enlightened one. In other words, you're paying homage to enlightenment. You must be in pursuit of enlightenment to be enlightened. You must want to be a saint, but you must be practicing the method of being a saint to be a saint, which is usual. You want to be the best worker, you must work towards it. So Buddha means enlightenment. Dharma is the methods. What are the methods involved? The sutras, the Vinayas. All these are the procedures, the philosophy, the methods involved in getting to the enlightenment. Sangha. What is Sangha? The third jewel. Sangha are those who are helping you. Your teachers, your gurus, like I am one of the members of the Sangha. So, homage to the triple germ. Namo Ratna Dharaya. So every day you're chanting it, you're paying homage to these three jewels. Namo Arya Avalokitesvaraya. That's the second line. There's homage to the holy Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, the great being, the great compassionate one. Avalokitesvara, that means watching down to see where the help is needed, or hearing where the help is needed. So the Bodhisattva always symbolized by, most cases symbolized by 1,000 hands. In each hand there's an eye in there. So in order to render assistance, to render mercy, to render compassion, you need to see and to hear where the help is needed. You need to analyze should the help be necessary. So homage to the whole Avalokitesvara is watching down on the world, hearing the world in order to find who needs help. Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva is those who practice enlightenment. The level is they haven't reached full enlightenment as yet. Some of them, they want to come back to the world to help sentient beings. They don't want to be in nirvana. In other words, imagine that if you're enlightened, you are in, just imagine that. I give just an example. If you're enlightened, you go to a world, you want to go, you go to heaven, or you want to go, when you're enlightened, you are in a world where there's no suffering. But you departed from this world. And the Bodhisattva wants to come back to the world. He's already enlightenment, or in the process of being enlightened, but he wants to come back to help all these other folks to be enlightened. So homage to the holy Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, the great being, the great compassionate one. The third line, Bodhisattvaya, Mahasattvaya, Mahakarunikaya. Maha means great being, Sattva means being. Bodhisattva, I already explained it. Mahakarunika. What is Maha? Maha means great. Karunika, that means compassion. You render compassion out. Karunika. Sometimes when you write a letter to a monk or to laymen who believe in Buddhism, you can say, Om Mahakaranika. At the end, you just say yours sincerely, or you're faithfully, or sincerely yours. You just write Om Mahakaranika, or Om Mahakaranika to all. That's more appropriate when you write to a monk. When you write to a monk, you won't say lovely yours. You won't say that. So you would just say, at the end, you say Om Mahakaranika to all sentient beings. Third line. The third line is Om. What is Om? Om is, you don't need to translate it. It's the mother of all sound. If you really want to translate it, it says, listen, here comes the mother of all sound, the origin of everything. Om. Om is a very magical word. Om. Zava Rabaya Sudanadansya. To all chanting of the good givers. Sava means all, everything. Sava. Zava, Zava means everything, all, encompassing all. And Sudanadansya, Dana means giving out. So it means to all chanting of the good givers, always giving out merits, giving out good to people, always be compassionate. Namas Kritiva Yimang Arya Valukitisvara Ramdava. Having done homage, the holy Avalokitesvara, the Lord of happiness. Namo Narakinti. Namo Narakinti. Narakinti, it's a blue neck Avalokitesvara. What is blue neck? It's giving out blue light. It's symbolic. The mantra is symbolical. In other words, when it mentions, for example, lion or elephants, it does not mean just lion and elephant, like the animal. It's symbolical. Language is symbolical. So when you try to remember something, when you heard about a lion, it symbolizes authority, it symbolizes power. So there is another sutra called Blue Neck Avalokitesvara. So Narakinti, that means the blue neck, giving out the blue light, blue in blue light. Hirihi Mahabhadazami Zava Atadu Zubam Ajayam. That means Hirihi. Hirihi is, what is Hiri? Hirihi is the seed syllable of Amitabha and Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. That's the magic word. There's a Sanskrit word written onto it. Hirihi is the seed word. The seed word is the most important name. Hiri. If you don't mention anything in there, Hirihi, that means Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. That's the seed syllable. Hirihi. Mahabhatasami Sava Atadu Zubam Ajayam. To the master possessing greatness, good from all points of view, the invincible one. Ajayam, the invincible one. Sava Sata Nama Vasata Nama Vaga. Homage to all beings, and then there's two nama in there. Zava Vasata means intoning, that means always chanting, whispering. Vasa and Namo. Namo, we know what Namo means. Vasa, we still don't know the meaning of it. It could be a very ancient Sanskrit that we already lost the meaning. So we just say whispering or intoning, Vasa and Namo. Namo we know. Namo is paying the high respect, taking protection under. So always whispering means always in your mind, always intoning, whispering, and remembering Vasa and Namo. Makadatu, that means free from bondage. Makadatu, that means free from bondage. Makadatu, free from bondage. What kind of bondage we have? We are bonded by our own body. We are bonded by the 5 skandhas we have. We are bonded by Lao Tzu, there was an ancient Chinese philosopher, Lao Tzu, the Westerners call Lao Tzu, very ancient philosophers like Confucius, and he said, our problem is we have a body. When we don't have a body, we don't have problem. Why do we have this body? This is a reincarnated body. This body contains matter, the five skandhas, matter, perception, conception, volition, and consciousness. In other words, this body contains the material side and the spiritual side. The material side is the heart, the spleen, the skin, everything, the hardware. Now, leaders say the hardware. Hey, here, this is hardware. Everything is hardware. Other than the hardware that contain in us, we also have the software. What is that software? The spiritual side of it. Perception, volition, conception, volition, and consciousness. So what are the problems? What are the problems with our five skandhas? Can you think of any problems? Well, this is our bondage. We always say this is the ego prisoned. This is the ego that bonds us. But what are the problems? Let's not get into too philosophical an explanation of it. Just say, what's the problem of this body? You've got to clean it every day. Comb your hair, use the right shampoo, clothe it. You have to nourish it. You have to eat your breakfast. You have to eat your lunch, your dinner, and you make sure that you have the right nutrition. Isn't that troublesome? You have to eat inside of it. You have to eat your food in. There's got to be in and out. When you want to go, when you want it to come out, you have to go to the washroom. How many days you go to the washroom every day? Imagine you don't have to eat, you don't have to go to the washroom. How peaceful it would be. Every day, this body requires a lot of caring. And finally, it betrays you. It dies out on you. You can't, I don't want to die. No. You have to. No choice. Have you got a choice of permanent living? You don't want to die? This body, and there's more problems if you continue to think about it. And some people are self-pitying, self-love. A self-love is better than loving other bodies. And they fall in love with other bodies too. And in this relationship of falling in love with other bodies, it creates a lot of nuisance, a lot of mental afflictions like jealousy, hatred, revenge, killing, raping. Well, how does this body create all these problems? And sometimes we call this body in a hotel, an apartment. When the lease is up, you got to go. Can't renew it anymore. Now that's just the hardware. What's the problem of the others? 4 skandhas. The perception, the conception, the volitions, and the consciousness. When we see everything, we tend to see everything with color lenses. This is good, this is bad, this is handsome, this is ugly, this guy is poor, this guy is rich, he's fat, he's ugly. Well, we discriminate, we pass our judgment onto everything. Our perception is not what things really are, not what they actually are. And when we have this wrong perception, then we have the wrong conceptualization. When we have the wrong conceptualization, we carry out the wrong deeds. That's why we have mental afflictions of jealousy, greediness, anxiety, hatred, depressions. That's why we carry out actions into killing, lying, you name them. So isn't that enough for this body? Let's carry on, otherwise we can't finish. So isn't it be free from bondage? Maybe at the end of the letter, when you write to a monk or you write to a Buddhist, you say, let's be Makadattu. Let's be free from bondage. Or you just say Makadattu. Makadattu, free from bondage. Let's working towards free from bondage. We want to be free from bondage. Tadhyata, the next one is, what is Tadhyata? Now, from Namo, the first line, to Makadattu, free from bondage, that's the homage, that's the prelude to the Dharani, the introduction. Paying homage to and reminding you with the last word, you've got to be free from your own bondage. You have to climb out from the cocoon of your own ego. We're like a caterpillar, throwing threads and nobody binds you. God didn't bind you. If God tried to bind you up, He's not God. If God is really God, He will save you, pull you out from a cocoon. He cannot. Why? Because you throw your own thread to bind yourself up, you've got to cut it yourself. The shepherd protector or the herder, do you call herder? The guy who herd the shepherd, the herder who tied the bell to the sheep, he has to untie the knob himself because he's the only guy who knows. You're the guy who tied it onto the sheep. You should be the only guy who untied it. Nobody else can. You throw your own thread to bind yourself up in the cocoon, you have to eat it out, break it out from yourself, for yourself. So, from Namo to Makadattu. Next is Tadhyata, and after Tadhyata, that is the central content of the Dharani. Tadhyata, what is Tadhyata? Tadhyata means that is to say, or it runs like this. After paying homage, then it runs like this. That means here's the content of the magic words, the main words that you must remember. Om again. Listen very carefully, because that's the origin of wisdom, origin of prajna. Avaloki, Lukati, Karanti, E Hirihi. Avaloki, let me turn to the page. Avaloki, it's the seer to the world, observer of the world. Karanti means worship, worshipping, or paying homage to. E Hirihi, there's no explanation for it, it's the seed syllables. Maha Bodhisattva, the great Bodhisattva. Zava, that means all, everything. It embraces everything, all Dharma, all. Mala, that means watch out for the garbage, watch out for the mental defilements that bind you. Mala. There's another word, mala. There's another word, the same writing, M-A-L-A. One is mala. Mala is with the emphasis on the first syllable. But the other, mala is emphasis on accentuation on the second syllable. Mala is your rosary, your garland of bouquet that you honor people. So don't pronounce it wrong. If you pronounce it as mala instead of mala should not be pronounced as mala. And mala should not be pronounced as mala. Otherwise, it's dirt, I'm giving you dirt. No. Mala is the bouquet of flowers. If you know the meaning of the Dharani, when you chant it, you feel that you know it. But don't take the words for the meaning. In other words, one word could contain a lot of meaning to it. For example, Makadattu. Makadattu is free from bondage. So it just reminds you, bondage, why do I have to free myself from bondage? But the meaning of it contains all the Dharma. It contains the Vinaya, Sutras, it contains all the Sastras. So these are just the summarized word, the memory aid for you to remember the meaning of the sutra. When you say, I've got to be free from bondage. What kind of bondage? How to be free from it? It leads you to think deeper and deeper. So don't just take the superficial meaning. The reason why Dharani is not translated into its full meaning is, first of all, it's a memory aid. It's a summary. Now, if you translate everything, it's translated the meaning, it means there's another sutra. Right from the Dharani is another sutra. So we really have to pull out the most important words. When you know the most important words, then you know. For example, Zava, what does that mean? Zava means? Zava means all-embracing, all. Look at the macros, the macroscope of it, not just the micro level. When you look at things at the micro level, your view tends to be restricted. It always reminds you to extend your view in a macro scale. Look at it from a wider angle. So always mala, always sava. It also reminds you of maha. What is maha? Maha means the greatest, the highest level, the supreme. Because there's so many philosophies, you have to reach the maha, the higher level. Karanika, what is karanika? Compassion. What's the meaning of compassion? Compassion is to give out. Prajna paramita, people who practice paramita, prajna paramita, when they give out compassion, is unconditional. In other words, when you attach to the ego, when giving out the compassion, is not the true compassion. I want to give this guy is sick. This guy is in front of a liquor store and he's drunk and he doesn't have any food. He's begging for $10. My teacher says that if I help some poor people, then I have good in return. In return, I have good merit. So in order to get good merit, maybe I'll help this guy. So you have attachment when you're helping. Compassion is unconditional giving.